Hey now. Hey now. Hey now, hey now, hey now, and hey now. Welcome to hour number 2 of the line. Hour number 3, whatever hour it is. I don't even know. I think it's number 3. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Appreciate ya. If you'll want to get in, you know the drill. 205-545-9950. That was a pretty fascinating stat by Victor Davis Hanson, who says, what did he say? Like 180,000 pounds of doo doo was taken off the streets of San Francisco, like human doo doo, or not the streets, but at one particular park. I don't remember which park he said, but that's a lot of doo doo. Let's hope the diarrhea parasite's not prevalent over there, because that would not be easy to clean up. Now, would it? Disgusting. Noto Roofing bringing you this hour. NotoRoofing.com. NotoRoofing.com. Y'all hit them up, hit them up, hit them up. Make sure you let them know I sent you. Free roof inspection, free roof tune-up. How could you not want that? How could you not want free, Free, for you? Y'all hit them up. Let them know I sent you. They're good people. Chris and Sammy and Matt and everybody over there, dude. They got a whole crew. Chris's son works for them. I see videos of him out there slinging a hammer on top of roofs. Just they're out there busting their ass, man, and doing right by people, getting the job done right, which is you don't see enough of these days. Here's the phone number: 205-848-2299. 848-2299, and online, NotoRoofing.com. The Save America Act is something I mentioned, I think, in the first hour or sometime. And it is being pushed pretty hard by the president at this point. He says he wants this done before the August recess, which means it's a matter of days before the deadline that he's looking for. And don't get me wrong, I wish he would have put this pressure on sooner, but he is now pointing the finger towards John Thune and saying, hey, get it done. I've played niceys with you long enough. It's time for you to get ish done. Get in there, whip them into shape, kill the filibuster, do whatever you got to do to get the Save America Act passed, because as we turn every corner from last week to this week to weeks ago, we continue to be provided with evidence of why we need the Save America Act. Do we not? We had the Chinese stuff last week. We've got the illegals registered to vote, some of which are voting this week. What's her name? Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey coming out and saying we've got over 6,000 illegals registered to vote. What? What? Which, that is a very lowball number. And I'll talk more about that coming up. All the reasons you need to pass the Save America Act, or to do what you need to do to get it passed, is right there. So what are you waiting on? And while Trump was in Georgia yesterday, he made that point.
What they should do? Very simple. A lot of you don't know about filibuster. They should terminate the filibuster and approve everything. Because the Democrats are going to do it. The Democrats are going to terminate the filibuster as soon as they have a chance. And then they're going to approve Puerto Rico and D.C. as a state. They got 4 more senators. They're going to end up with 12 more congressmen. They're going to get at like 40 electoral votes. If they are allowed to do that, by that time I'll be sitting home. And I'm not a big crier. I don't think you want to see me cry, you know? There are some people, they do very well when they cry. But you don't want to see me cry. But I may be crying when I'll be sitting home and I'll say I told them. they got to really terminate the filibuster, get everything approved right away. Because you're going to have a stoppage. You're going to have a stoppage in September. The Democrats won't approve everything. They become deranged, like deranged Jack Smith. Remember that deranged sick puppy? They're deranged, and they won't approve. You're going to have a shutdown in September. And in 2 years later, you have the debt ceiling bill. They would love it. I call it the 1929. You know what 1929 means? That was not a good year. And there's no reason for it. They should terminate the filibuster. Everybody call John Thune at the Senate. He's the leader of the Republican Party, and tell him to get this stuff approved. So we're fighting so that all voters must show voter ID. We're fighting so that all voters must provide proof of citizenship, okay? And also the no mail-in ballots, very important. And we're doing exceptions for illness, disability, military deployment, travel. If you're away and you have problems, we'll be very easy on that. Look, if you're away, if you're in the military, you want to vote, we want you to vote.
The fact that he's telling people to contact John Thune, I think, is a big shift in Trump's push to get this done. Because he's saying Trump's got an army behind him. Literally. And his words still hold tremendous weight. That's why every Republican that runs, the first thing they do is they call Donald Trump for an endorsement. Okay? And so John Thune's political career can be severely damaged if he doesn't get done what the president's asking him to do. If Donald Trump looks at the situation and feels like John Thune isn't doing enough, he'll come out and blast him. And so I say for those of you listening to this show, take the president's advice. Call the switchboard at the Capitol. Just Google John Thune's office, Senator John Thune phone number. Call him, leave a voicemail, leave an email. Even if he doesn't see it, you can bombard the staffers and make sure you say, pass the Save America Act if you care about being reelected. And yes, I'm contacting you because the president told me to. I'm doing it on my own free will, and I believe that you should pass get the Save America Act passed, but the president's words hold weight, and that's why I'm calling you. That's why I'm emailing you. So get it done. That's what you can do. People ask me all the time, what can I do? What can I do? And I don't always have the answers, not just for this issue, but, any issue. What can I do? What can I do? Every situation is different as far as what you can do, but the fallback is always contact your representatives. And even though John Thune is not representing the state of Alabama, he is representing the entire Republican Party in the Senate. And with a slim majority that we have, he's got to figure it out, whatever that may be. I don't have the answers outside of eliminating the filibuster, but figure it out. That's the whole reason you were put in this position, which I was against in the beginning. It's the whole reason you're there is for moments like this. And every bit of comment that we get out of John Thune, it's a throw his hands up and, I don't have the votes. I don't have the votes. We can't eliminate the filibuster. We can't pass the Save America Act. That portrays to us that you're not trying hard enough. That's what we hear coming out of your mouth. That you're not trying enough, and you don't care. Now, Democrats, on the other hand, they get to go on about their day and pretend that the idea of illegals voting in elections is just non-existent. Like it doesn't, even though it's been admitted to, they're still walking around pretending that it's not actually a thing. It's quite wild. I'll give you examples of that when we get back. 205 545 9950. Bring it in on the phones. We'll get you on right after this. perfect example of Democrats, and I've seen many be approached by reporters on the street out near the Capitol. Example of Democrats just completely ignoring the issue that is now proven. By the way, it's proven. It's out there. Everybody knows. Even the people at CNN that refuse to carry Trump's speech and refuse to listen to anything anybody says that proves Trump's right, even they know. But people on Capitol Hill, the ones that actually write the laws of the land, don't seem to know what's going on. Case in point, Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren. She is approached by one of the reporters from Lindell TV. It's that redheaded chick. I don't know her name, but I like her. She's a fiery redhead. She gets in there and asks all the good questions. This is Elizabeth Warren's response to the bombshell report that completely underestimates the amount of illegals that are registered to vote out of New Jersey that was put out.
Jersey with the legislation passed.
Look, it is already. Oh, period.
But there's
That's the
at
law.
least 400 aliens that
Well,
did
there
vote.
are already laws to prevent that.
Well, do you think
And if
anything's gonna
people
happen?
have violated the law, then they should be prosecuted.
Do you think
Easy.
anything's actually going to
Easy.
happen? I thought Democrats always said that there's no evidence of
I
illegals
don't
voting.
understand why you want laws that are already there. That
they're not
makes no
being-
sense.
But I thought Democrats said illegals never vote, but obviously they do, right? Thank you, Senator.
She jumps in the elevator and dips out. She actually got so flustered she went in the wrong elevator, and her staff had to tell her to come back around. She said, "I come over here." There's already a law. You can't vote. Okay. So, I mean, there's plenty of examples of things that are illegal that there's laws against, and the laws, obviously being too weak, are amended or are beefed up, if you will, in order to curb said criminal actions. And sometimes you just look at it and you say, okay, well, this law is obviously not preventing this illegal act. What can we do to make it better? That's the job of Congress, right? But Elizabeth Warren says, Pocahontas says, no, we've already got laws. There is no reason to pass another. With all the stupid stuff that they pass, you think that passing the Save America Act is what? A waste of time? And of course, the party line and the narrative is towed by the media. Over on MSN Now, Molly Jung Fast, who sounds like a North Korean dictator, but is actually a New York Times contributor or something. She's always on MS Now. She says that, yes, there is an issue, but actually, there's not an issue. She said, essentially, that Donald Trump is going to jump on this, speaking of the stuff that was revealed out of New Jersey, but that it's a problem that doesn't even exist, contradicting herself in a matter of one breath.
This was Governor Mikey Sherrill, Democrat, just voted into office there, went through the voter rolls and did find 400 instances where non-citizens were able to cast a ballot. How concerned are you about that?
I mean, again, good for her for transparency and talking about it and those people are no longer on the rolls. And look, that is good. The question is, like, does Trump now, and we're seeing this already, use it to prove a point that doesn't exist?
To prove a point that doesn't exist? Oh, what do you mean? You just said it exists. Is this a problem? Well, you know, she discovered it. Good for her, but it doesn't exist. So the governor of New Jersey discovered something that doesn't exist? What? So that's the Democrats, and this is how you know they have found themselves in a tight spot, backed in a corner, if you will. It is when they just go straight to the denial stage and say, "What are you talking about? I don't know anything about this. It's all made up. It's a non-issue." And Donald Trump is trying to take advantage of something that doesn't exist. And even the explanation from Mikey Sherrill as to how this happened, remember, they didn't take any responsibility as to what. My phone's not muted. I was like, what the hell is going on here? They took no responsibility. Mikey Sherrill takes no responsibility. She says, oh, it was a software glitch. Wasn't us. It was our voting software. Obviously, because we would never do such a thing. But John Solomon from Just the News contacted the voting software company, and they said this.
As you know, last night, the New Jersey governor admitted that 6,600 illegal aliens had made it onto New Jersey's voter rolls. At least that number, it could be a lot larger. And 400 of them actually cast a vote. That is the largest number of foreigners ever to vote in any collection of an election in American history. When we told you that last night, the governor said, not our fault. It was a software glitch. No big deal. Well, overnight, we reached out to the software company that runs New Jersey's system. And you know what they said? There's no software glitch at all. The state of New Jersey knew they were putting non-citizens, i.e. foreigners, onto the voter rolls. It is the state's responsibility to determine who is eligible to vote and who's not. The software had it marked right. That is a major contradiction. And just a little while ago, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights in the U.S. Justice Department, Harmeet Dillon, announced that there is an investigation of New Jersey now into whether they knowingly were allowing non-citizens to vote and to get on the voter rolls. Remember, a week ago, she sent a letter out saying, if you let non-citizens vote knowingly, you're in trouble. Well, now the vendor's comments raise the very strong possibility that one of the blue states in America may have acceded to allowing non-citizens to vote.
Whoa, that's weird. So you mean to tell me that New Jersey says it was a software glitch that allowed over 6,000 illegals to register to vote, and then 400 of them voted, but the software company says, no, it couldn't have been a glitch because it's a state's responsibility to see who's eligible and who's not. I think somebody might be in trouble. Oh, yeah. Bubba Rumble says on the text line, her name's Allison. Allison from Lindell TV. That was the chick that was asking questions to Elizabeth Warren. And I want to say that I heard her tell a story one time about how she used to be like a stripper or something like that, and that she found God and turned her life around and all this stuff, or something like that. Maybe she's like OnlyFans model, or she was doing something, and she turned her life around, and now she's spitting straight fire on Capitol Hill, holding these evil Democrats accountable, which I like. I like it. I like it a lot. So here's the thing about New Jersey. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but I want everybody to understand that 6,000 number is almost certainly bogus. The 6,000 non-citizens registered to vote, that is the low ball of all low balls, because the real number is going to be much higher than that. The reason that any Democrat, because they had to concede it for them to come out, and this was unprompted. Like this, they just did this on their own. For them to come out and give out any sort of information that gives legitimacy to Trump and the administration is a no-no within the DNC. Like, you are not allowed to do that. But for some reason, this time they did. And the reason for that is going to be, and we will find out in the near future, is that number is far higher than 6,000. It's far higher than 6,600 non-citizens. And the 400 that voted, that number is also likely much higher. You're going to see something more along the lines of 30 or 40,000 non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey. That's more like what you're going to see once the truth comes out. And you're going to see the same in other states. You're going to see something near 200,000 or 300,000 in California, which is crazy. That's probably a lowball number, honestly. But don't take this as an act of goodwill by New Jersey, because it is absolutely not. This is not Mikey Sherrill trying to do the right thing. Democrats don't do the right thing just to do the right thing. If they do the right thing, it's usually because they did it on accident. They don't purposely go out of their way to hurt their own voter base. Okay? Like, they're not in the business of doing that. But here's what's interesting about New Jersey. Do y'all remember the ERIC system? The ERIC system was a voter roll-based system that kind of curated and allowed officials to check and make sure that everything was on the up and up. And it was not a very efficient system. And then we started digging, and we found out that there were some very shady actors behind the ERIC system. And I remember Leland doing a big whole thing on this, because we here in Alabama, for a certain amount of time, were using the ERIC system as well. And it was kind of like, what? I mean, there are financial ties going back to even George Soros when it comes to the ERIC system. Why would we have George Soros tied into Alabama's election system? Can anybody answer that? No. Anyway, lawmakers wised up. It probably got there because somebody's pockets got padded. But here's the thing about New Jersey. They joined the ERIC system that does not report if a person is a non-citizen. Then illegals started voting. There are 24 states that are not using the new system that was put in place, which is effective. It's called the SAVE system, to verify illegal alien voters. And ironically enough, most of these 24 don't want the federal government anywhere near their voter rolls. I wonder why. So New Jersey is one of the many states that don't use the federal SAVE system to check for illegal aliens in their voter registrations or existing voter rolls. SAVE is an online service administered by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services that provides immigration status and U.S. citizenship information. SAVE only returns verification information. The decision to register or remove a voter remains strictly with state or local election officials. That's important to know. As of June 30th, there are 26 states using the SAVE for voter registration or voter list maintenance purposes. It processed 198 million cases in 2025. The remaining 24 states that have no public info that their election authority uses SAVE, most of these 24 states are left-leaning. Some examples: California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington. These are the states that are like, nah, we're good. Many of which stick with the ERIC system. Now, New Jersey joined the nonprofit ERIC system in August of 2022 to allegedly help clean their voter rolls. The Secretary of State, Tahisha Way, said at the time, quote, ERIC is a powerful step to strengthen New Jersey's elections by increasing our ability to support eligible voters while also improving the accuracy of our voting rolls. Obviously, that's not working. The agreement with the Electronic Registration Information Center, that's what ERIC stands for, does not allow New Jersey or any other members of ERIC to communicate or notate to ERIC that a person is a non-citizen. So this supposed sophisticated voter cleaning operation has in its bylaws that they do not want information that a person is a non-citizen. And what's even more bizarre is ERIC doesn't use the SAVE system. It says, under no circumstances shall the member transmit an individual's record where the record contains documentation or other information indicating that an individual is a non-citizen of the United States. So why would you use a system that supposedly cleans up your voter rolls if it doesn't even tell you if somebody is illegally voting? What's the point? So anyway, after Trump was elected, he mandated enhancements to the SAVE system. There were several major changes. You could now bulk process voter lists. It now uses SSA data during citizenship verification. It allows searches by name, date of birth, and last four of Social Security numbers instead of just the alien registration number or I-94 number. Now, the SAVE system used to cost $1 per transaction. So, for example, if you wanted to check, let's say, 40,000 voters on your rolls, you would get a bill for $40,000. These kinds of fees prevented many election administrators from using the system in bulk to clean up said voter rolls. So Trump made it free to encourage the bulk processing and to get through the entirety of your voter rolls. The SAVE system is not a database. It sits on top of the verification information system, which queries and consolidates information from numerous federal immigration and citizenship databases. This includes everything from flight information, benefits applications, citizenship processing, and more. Various systems feed information into the verification information system, which is the technology platform underlying Save. Leftists pushed back and filed a lawsuit to stop the use and expansion of Save for Election. The number of leftist groups pushing back showed a clear coordination because they don't want you cleaning up the voter rolls. They would rather everybody just stick with a much less effective program such as ERIC. And last month, to no surprise, a radical U.S. District Court judge whose first name is Sparkle Souknanan, Judge Sparkle Souknanan, blocked the use of the enhanced Save system. She sided with leftist groups like the League of Women Voters. The judge claimed Save violated privacy rights and that citizens could be incorrectly identified. The judge overlooked that mistakes happen with every government database, but that doesn't matter. Earlier this month, Trump appointed a federal judge in Florida. A Trump-appointed judge in federal judge in Florida overruled Souknanan's highly controversial order by a far-left, foreign-born activist judge in Washington, D.C., officially reinstating Trump's election security system. The systematic alien verification for entitlement system, that's what SAVE stands for, system upgrades which allow states to instantly screen voter rolls and purge illegal aliens is back online. However, the judge, her June 22nd opinion still remains in effect unless stayed or reversed on appeal. The federal government appealed that decision to the D.C. Circuit. And that's what sucks, man, is in a lot of these cases, you have to go to court in Washington, D.C., which is an absolute cesspool. But anyway, that's a little bit of it. That's a long, convoluted way of saying that New Jersey, as well as many other blue states, are going out of their way to make sure their voter rolls stay dirty. They have an easy way, a free way. Remember, it's free to use the SAVE system to clean up your voter rolls. You can do it in bulk. Doesn't cost you nada. And yet, not only are they not using it, they're pushing back on it and want it eliminated altogether. Tells you all you need to know. And it's not just New Jersey caught in this illegals registering to vote scandal. There were 6 states that were previously caught, including thousands of non-citizens on the voter rolls. I gave you numbers yesterday of 4 different states from a preliminary DHS report, and it found that over 14,000 non-citizens were registered in Pennsylvania, over 15,000 registered in Nevada, over 35,000 in New Jersey, and over 190,000 non-citizen registered in California. Obviously, that's a widespread problem, but as you see with the left, the Democrats, and the media, it's a non-issue. It's almost non-existent. It's pretty disgusting when you think about it, but this is what they do. And they hail these people as heroes. There was a funny story. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Da Nang Dick, as they call him. Remember when Trump used to call him that? It was the best nickname ever. Da Nang Dick. He and I think some other local Democrats got all up in arms and puffed their chest out about an individual who had a notice of removal order against him. He was illegally in this country. So ICE hemmed him up, and they were going through the process, and Blumenthal and others were all like, "Oh, you can't do that. He owns a dry cleaning service, and he's a good guy, and he doesn't cause any problems." Turns out, first of all, that guy's got a criminal record. He's got DUIs on his record and everything else. He actually originally came into the country in 1997 using a fraudulent Dutch passport. And then an immigration judge issued a final order of removal against him that same year. He has prior DUI convictions and reportedly left the country in 2024, only to be released back into the country under the Biden administration, despite the longstanding removal order. Anyway, this guy was a hero for Richard Blumenthal. It was kind of like the Abrego Garcia gimmick, right? Well, it turns out that this individual, this particular illegal, whose name is Saeed, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, but we'll just call him Saeed. He is registered to vote in Connecticut and claims on his registration that he is a U.S. citizen. Now, how many times did he vote? Don't know that yet, but we know he's registered to vote. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why he's a hero of the left. Back after this. All right, let me go over to my man Bubba Rumble. I got a few minutes left before we hit the next hour. Bubba, what's up?
Hi now.
Hey, now.
I got to do a quick sidestep and just congratulate Mr. Hell Yeah Ricky on having good taste in music.
Oh yeah, man, you two hit like right on. I saw it and I was like, dude, these two guys have no idea that they're basically picking the same family members.
Well, see, we thousands of miles apart, but we're connected through the synergy of the Hey Now Nation, man. There's a homogenization there that cannot be denied.
That's right. That's right.
All right, this whole election cheating and stuff, like, we all know what's happening. And even the people that gaslight and deny it, like Hiawatha Warren, they know what's happening too. And that's their vehicle to stay in power. And, you know, it goes from one level of denial to the next, them telling us it doesn't exist. Okay, well, maybe it exists, but it's just so fractionally small that it shouldn't be acknowledged. It's like, okay, well, the numbers are highly exaggerated, you know, and how far is this going to go? Do we really have any power to stop it?
Yeah, that's the question. Is it, and this is a problem that's been going on for a long time, obviously, but now that we've had this giant influx over the course of the Biden administration, it makes the problem, you know, a million times worse. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're in uncharted territory where we have people that are taking it seriously for once, when that has never been the case in the past. So we don't know. I mean, you're up against people that will fight tooth and nail, fight to the death to protect these illegals and their ability to vote.
Well, yeah, and you know, I would call into question that there's only 190,000 illegal aliens registered to vote in California. I would venture to say the number's in the millions.
Yeah, that would be shocking to hear the number, but I can't say that I would be surprised.
Well, we talked about it already. They give them driver's licenses, which automatically registers them to vote over there. Millions of illegals have driver's licenses in California.
Right.
And to be fair, there is an opt-out on your application form that none of them are checking that, no, I'm an illegal, or you can't register me to vote. So we know that's not really happening. But in the meantime, John Thune is a rhino scumbag traitor that needs to be held to account too. And like, he's a big obstacle in the SAVE Act getting passed.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
All right, then.
Hey now. Yeah, John Thune is, Bubba's right. He's an obstacle, and Trump needs to just ratchet up the pressure on him. Just let him know, hey, I'm out of here in 2 years, but I could still be the kingmaker after 2028. And if you don't get this done, we're going to hold your ass accountable.